selling counterfeit watches. They were also selling pharmaceutical drugs as well. This is the organization that just the women in North Carolina were involved with. These are all of the websites that they were acting as customer service for, with the two exceptions of the pharmacy and the diamond replicas. So the question is, where do we go from here? So we started in North Carolina. The second blue dot relates to the King replica site. As we went on in this investigation, we noticed that they had set up a new customer service center. So we knew that there was somewhere else in the US, at least according to the phone number that they had listed, that they were actually taking the orders through. The registrars. The registrants. Internet service providers. This is where the phone numbers are based. The email and Skype. This is where the product is coming from. These are where the banks are located. And this is where all of the product is going to. So these are the orders. And remember, this is just from 1 week that these orders came in. When we look at something like this as a company, we've spent 2 months, we've spent a lot of money, we've got a lot of information, but we're faced with a lot of barriers in terms of how do we track down who are these people. The scary thing is, and these are the screenshots from a lot of the sites they were running. We did the raid on February 3rd. The site went down within an hour after we'd done the raid because they hadn't responded to some emails that Tianzin and Snitchy were sending them. But it only took them 7 hours to get the site up and running again on a different ISP in a country where they wouldn't do the normal takedown notice. And they were continuing to take orders on each of these sites as we were trying to figure out how to track them down. I think the important thing here is you're dealing with a lot of the same issues in terms of how do you stop this, but we've gotten to this point where counterfeiters have learned how to use the internet and learned how to be anonymous. And we need tools, both as in-house counsel and outside counsel and law enforcement and the courts, to be able to go after them. And unfortunately, those tools include the ability to do this quickly. We need to come up with ways in which we have learned how to find this information that we can find, but also how to go after them as quickly as they can get it set up. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. As a Canadian, I'm always a little concerned when I hear they're coming from St. Kitts, they're coming from Canada in the same breath. I can tell you, being from Canada, there's a difference between us and St. Kitts, particularly around December. But one is an IP rights holder and one's facing this kind of problem. What does one do? In addition, obviously, to having skillful and experienced in-house counsel with expertise, you turn to your external counsel. And Mark Mutterpearl is one of those, a partner at Fulbright and Jaworski LLP here in New York. His practice of almost 25 years is focused on trademark law, particularly enforcing clients' trademark rights against counterfeiting, infringement, and dilution. He's the chair of INTA's North America Subcommittee of Anti-Counterfeiting and Enforcement, formerly a member of counsel of this section, the ABA section of IP law, chairing the Division on Trademarks and Unfair Competition, among others. He has written and lectured on various trademark issues, including anti-counterfeiting. He's ranked by Chambers among the top attorneys in IP, trademark, and copyright. Trademark World named him an IP luminary, and Law and Politics magazine has named him a New York super lawyer in IP, which I think means that if you shine a light in the sky, he'll come and get the infringers. Mark?
Thank you, Nick. As Stacey's presentation shows, counterfeiting is an international problem which requires international cooperation. Counterfeiting cases may be global. To hit counterfeiters where it hurts, we must address cross-border issues, move swiftly in the United States and other countries, and deal with civil and criminal actions carefully and simultaneously. To begin, when counterfeits are discovered, brand owners and their counsel must focus immediately and simultaneously on a number of things, such as working with investigators to ferret out the facts, considering whether to file a civil action, and if so, whether to seek ex parte relief, whether the case is appropriate for criminal prosecution, and if so, whether and when and how to deal with the government to try to interest the government in criminal prosecution,